So next up, we have our client link. We have band select. We have spectrum expert mode. We have support and universal AP access. So these are some of the additional features we have to talk about when we're doing, again, autonomous AP configuration. Just because you finished the wireless LAN doesn't mean you're out of the woods, folks. There's still a lot you have to do. First up, client link. What is client link? Anyone remember? Said it a couple times. This, in the old days, used to be called beamforming. Now, we can only enable this from the CLI, and you can only enable beamforming now if you have multiple antennas. See, picture's got two. You need multiple antennas. Why is this? Well, I'm sure we've discussed beamforming in this environment, this technology. Well, I'm going to give you the short reminder of this, all right? Because we've been through this so many times in this course. Beamforming allows us to send two separate signals, right? We're going to take two separate signals, and we're going to send it in such a way that the signal is going to be boosted in a particular direction. So we're actually allowing a directed signal to be sent in a stronger way to a particular client. That's all. That's what beamforming is. Directional antennas providing a stronger signal. So that's why I need two, right? Because it needs to come from two different vectors. This vector, and the waves meet. And you see the wave here is low, and you see the wave here is low. But when they're put together, it's much higher. So this is great because we're using the strength of both signals, okay? So beamforming, only enabled on the CLI. Only with APs with two or more antennas, all right? Make sure we're aware of that. Band select, enabled per wireless LAN, enabled from the GUI or the CLI. Now, what is band select? Band select is the ability to have your clients pushed from the 2.4 spectrum to the 5.0 spectrum as needed. Okay? We're going to try and ignore requests to join the 2.4. That's what band select's going to do. We've talked about this. That is the cycle count. The cycle count says, I am going to ignore a request to join the 2.4, in this case, 3 separate times. So I'm going to wait 3 different times for the same client to try and join. Meanwhile, I have the 5 gigahertz spectrum. Meanwhile, I have the 5 gigahertz spectrum wide open and ready to use. We have other settings here. We have our expire dual band, expire suppression. We have our cycle threshold, our client. So how many times are we going to cycle through? How many times are we going to ignore a cycle? How long are those cycles that we're going to wait? What's the expiration time? So if a client supports 5 gigahertz, we really want to try and put them on 5 gigahertz. Like we said earlier, 2.4 is a crowded waiting zone. Next up, you have to make sure to enable band select. I don't know why they did the whole screenshot at the bottom here. So what we were doing is, first you got to go to services, you got to go to band select. This is a different spot than we were at earlier. And I mentioned that. I said we're in a different spot, right? So this is where we would select the actual band select configuration where we do the cycling, the timing of the cycling, the important things for band select. Now, once we've done that, we have not enabled band select yet. All we've done is configured how band select would work if we did enable it. If we want to enable it, we have to go to the security tab. We have to choose the SSID we want to enable band select on. And then we have to choose band select here. That one setting. If we don't do that, band select is not enabled.